know, in the climate system, there's this idea that there might be a tipping point associated with a certain warming, pushing yourself up this hill with warming, where the Greenland ice sheet would melt. And we know on the other side, in the long term, we've got a 7-metre sea level rise to deal with. In other tipping points, for example, the possibility that the Amazon rainforest could be badly affected by climate change, that could happen quite quickly, associated with fires and things like that. As far as human systems are concerned and adaptation, the rate of change is at least as important as the final endpoint. You know, we're limited how fast we can react.
The question now is if we have any time left for self-delusion.
There's a lot of ice up there in Greenland.
James Lovelock is the godfather of the environmental movement. He fears that even today, we still haven't really learned the lessons of the mathematics, and we still want to believe in prediction and control.
This is the flaw of the great climate models we have at the moment. They all imply that if you could reduce the carbon dioxide, bring it back, stabilise it at some level, all would be well. We could handle the situation. I think this is nonsense. I think once the system has started to slide, there's no going back. And I like to think of it not so much as a tipping point, but as a slope that gets ever steeper, and at some point it gets so steep you can't hang on any longer.
That's what you would see instead of a tipping
point, yes.
It sounds worse.
Well, it is bad. It's very bad. And the tipping point all implies that, well, maybe you could tip it back. The slope implies you can't. It's gone too far. If you look at the Earth's history, the climate goes along more or less steadily at some state, either very cold as in an ice age, and then it comes to a point where it slides over, then goes up to a stable state, the interglacial. It also in the past has gone upwards to another stable state, a hot state, and it did so 55 million years ago, when about the same amount of carbon dioxide went into the atmosphere as we are putting in. And it jumped 5 degrees quite suddenly.
And as you say, you can't pull a lever somewhere and make it go back.
Well, it took 200,000 years for it to go back after the 55 million year ago event. And yet the carbon dioxide went down. But it didn't go, the temperature didn't. It stayed up for that long.
Which undermines the whole notion of control, doesn't it?
It does. It does indeed, and I think it's a false notion. At least, I think they should think about it being a false notion. I can't be certain in what I'm saying. Only if I come on very strong, it's because I am so concerned about their certainty, about their models, and the way politicians are taking it and letting them form the basis of policy. I think that's almost absurd.
Your image of the slope. Where do you think we or the system we're in is on that slope?
I wish I knew. I suspect we're just about to drop off, but I may be wrong. We may be a little bit further back up the slope, but I'm not sure. Don't see how we can do much about it. I think one of the crucial bits of the system, which everyone knows would change, is the floating ice in the Arctic Ocean. As you probably know, last summer, 60% of it went, and they think that in not many years, perhaps little as 5, perhaps as much as 15, it'll all be gone. When it does, you can work out in the back of an envelope what difference this makes to the heat load of the Earth, and you'll find it's about equal to all of the CO2 we've added to the atmosphere to date. In other words, heating doubles when by the time that ice goes. Do you think there's any going back? Can we put that ice back? No, no way.
We can't put things back, can't make right what is already wrong. We're still on the road to chaos, but are once again standing at that place where possible futures divide. Only this time, we have had 100 years to learn the lessons of the mathematics. Perhaps this time we will be able to do what we could not back then. face reality as it is. For that reality is staring us in the face.